All right, so today's movie review is 42nd Street from 1943, starring Bebe Daniels and directed by Lloyd Bacon. And so now let me get to my thoughts on the plot. So the plot, I gave it a 3 out of 5. And the reason being, I think it's kind of a generic musical plot, especially if you've seen Broadway play of 1929 or other films in this era. A background singer becomes the main star, and there's a love triangle, misunderstanding, that sort of thing, jealousy, betrayal. It's a very cookie cutter plot for musicals, especially in this era. This is not the first film to do it, but I thought what they did was fine, very generic. Really, the best part, plot wise, is the final sequence when they're finally on the stage where it all finally comes together. That is the best sequence overall for this movie, plot wise. And so that's why I gave it a 3 out of 5. All right, so now let's move on to the acting. So the acting, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was good. I liked Ruby Keeler as Peggy. She's pictured there on the left. And I also liked Bebe Daniels as Dorothy or Dot. Ginger Rogers is great. There's some other actresses who later became famous who had some funny lines and whatnot. Many of the chorus girl actresses. And that adds an element of humor to the film that I really appreciated. That that that's something I should mention is this movie, not only is it romantic and musical and whatnot, it actually has some pretty funny moments too. And some dramatic for sure. But yeah. Honestly, the weakest link acting wise pictured on the right there was actually George Brent as Pat Denning. Um, One, he's not in it a whole lot, but two, I don't know, he just seemed to be overacting to me. Um, and honestly, a lot of the guy actors were like that too in this movie. I think the best one really was I can't remember his name, but he's the stage director. I actually thought he was the best actor overall in this film. Everybody else just seemed a little over the top. Um, which fits in this zany, crazy world. I don't know, but to me, the best acting really was by Ruby Keeler and Bebe Daniels. I thought they were the best for sure. So that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5. All right, so now I'll move on to directing. So for the directing, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought he did a great job here, Lloyd Bacon there. He had some great dancing scenes and numbers and whatnot, and even some of the melodrama moments were good. But like I said, pretty generic. But really, the best stuff really is on the stage. And I don't know if they had a choreographer or anybody like that who did those sequences, but those were the best moments to me. I feel like it is him because, you look at his filmography, whether he directed, produced, a lot of them are musicals. So I feel like it was him for sure. But that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5. All right, so for cinematography and special effects, 5 out of 5. I thought it was incredible, especially in sequences like I was mentioning here at the very, very end. Some amazing camera work and camera angles, and um, on the stage, all the backdrops, all the props, everything like that looked amazing. And again, sequences like this where it's all just great choreography and whatnot were incredible. And they had some really creative camera shots. Like I think I want to say um, Big Lebowski may have stolen some scenes from this because there's a sequence where the camera's going underneath the legs of all the chorus girls, and then it ends with a guy and a girl at the end of it. It reminded me a lot of that scene in Big Lebowski. I'm sure the Coen brothers were fans of this movie. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of moments in it that are very creative and innovative like that, and that's why I gave it a 5 out of 5. And the costumes were great too. Editing, um, everything off the stage though is pretty generic. Feels like you would see in a musical, kind of old ratty studio, and stage and whatnot. But then once they're actually on the stage with the sets and whatnot, it looks amazing, and that's why I gave it a 5 out of 5. All right, in regards to the music, so being that this is a musical, but not in the sense where the characters are singing their thoughts kind of thing, more so just when they're on the stage. They're preparing for a show. Um, I thought it was really good. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I think the best song overall is the 42nd Street song. It goes something like da 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 da. Oh, on 42nd Street. I don't remember all the lyrics, but I like the tune of that. It was well put together, very catchy music overall, and it's one of the strengths of the film, as well as the choreography and dancing. The music is really good too, and very very catchy, and not as generic, right? It really stands out. Like if I heard the music from this movie, I would know it was from this movie. Um, Especially when comparison to Broadway. I think I said Broadway show of 29. It's Broadway melody of 1929. Um, I'd be able to tell the difference between those two films and maybe some others. But yeah, the music was great. 5 out of 5. All right. So overall, that brings my score to a 4.2 out of 5, which makes my criticalist percentage an 84%. So now let me break down my criticalist score. Graphic language, none. There's no graphic language. Even though this is before the Hays Code era, really, it's very, very tame language wise. And same goes for violence. There's like a fist fight, if that. Very, very tame. And then for nudity, sexual content, many of the chorus girls' dresses are pretty revealing, but there's no nudity or anything like that is shown. It's very, very tame by today's standards for sure. Political bias, none. Family friendly, I'd say it's very family friendly, especially if you're a fan of a musical and dancing and your kids like that kind of thing. I think this would be a good film for them. And so, entertainment value, very entertaining. The main purpose to watch this film, though, is for that final sequence where it all crescendos, and they build up to the whole, musical on the stage sequence. That is the best part of it. The story itself is pretty standard. Um, it's just generic. It's not terrible or anything like that. It's very very generic though. The best part really is when they're on the stage, for sure. And so with that, would I recommend this movie? Yes, I would. And it's a very fun musical, and the dancing super great and catchy, and great cast, great characters. Fun story, like I was saying, pretty generic, but overall, it was a good time. I like this movie. I definitely will be adding it to my collection. Um, I think Warner Archive has a Blu-ray of it that I want to check out. But yeah, overall, I had a great time with it. I recommend it for, especially for musicals from the 30s. This is really the golden age of those musicals. I think this is one of the better ones for sure. But yeah, those are my thoughts overall on 42nd Street from 1933, and that concludes today's movie review.